Have you ever really stopped to think about how one decision, or maybe even not making a decision, could just echo down the years? How it could totally change things for millions of people, for whole
It's
nations?
a powerful thought, yeah.
Because today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that kind of situation, the very beginning of the Kashmir conflict. It's a story packed with politics, history, and, well, a king really stuck between a rock and a hard place.
hmm And the backdrop is just immense, isn't it? We're talking 1947, the partition of British India. Hundreds of these princely states suddenly had to choose India, Pakistan, or somehow go it alone.
Right. And Jammu and Kashmir was, I mean, unique, hugely strategic location, stunningly beautiful, of course, but also this really complex mix. You've got Maharaja Hari Singh, a Hindu ruler, and a population that's majority Muslim.
And his dream, initially at least, was independence, to sort of,
Yeah.
stay out of the fray.
Exactly. He wanted autonomy, but the pressure, it
Yes.
was immense.
Well, you can see Pakistan's perspective, right? Given the logic of partition division along religious lines, they saw Kashmir, with its Muslim majority, as, well, naturally theirs. Almost a given.
That makes sense from their viewpoint. But then you look at India, their big concern was, okay, we need a stable, connected country. They couldn't really have states right next door deciding to join Pakistan, maybe even against what the people there wanted.
So even if the Maharaja wanted independence, the whole geopolitical situation was making that look less and less likely, very quickly.
It really makes you question how much real choice these rulers actually had at that point, doesn't it?
That's a key point. And Hari Singh's hesitation, his playing for time, hoping for independence, that indecision itself became a huge factor in what happened next.
Okay, so here's where things really, really escalate. October 1947, suddenly the whole thing just explodes. Tribal militias from Pakistan's northwest frontier province, they sweep into Kashmir.
Yeah, and it's crucial to understand this wasn't just some spontaneous tribal thing, although it was presented that way sometimes. There was definite support, maybe covert is the word, from elements within the Pakistani government.
And the result was just chaos, right? Violence, people fleeing.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Accounts from the time are harrowing. It created panic. And for the Maharaja, this was the breaking point. His own forces couldn't stop them. The situation was rapidly getting out of his control.
So he's desperate. He turns to India, asks for help.
And India says, okay, we can help, we will send troops, but there's a condition.
The condition being?
Formal accession. Jammu and Kashmir had to legally, formally join India. Only then would Indian military aid come.
Wow. Talk about a tough choice. Immediate survival versus that dream of independence, or maybe even joining the other side?
A really stark trade-off. And under that intense pressure, on October 26, 1947, Maharaja Hari Singh signed the Instrument of Accession.
The formal document.
Exactly. The legal basis for Jammu and Kashmir becoming part of India. And almost immediately, Indian soldiers were being airlifted into Srinagar to try and push back the invasion.
But of course, Pakistan didn't just accept this.
Not at all. They immediately challenged the legality of it. Their argument, which persists today, was that it was signed under duress, coercion, and didn't represent what the Kashmiri people actually wanted.
And that disagreement right there sparks the first war between India and Pakistan.
Precisely. And that's really what we want you, the listener, to focus on with us today. These initial steps, these seeds of discord in 47-48. We're not yet getting into the full details of the war itself. That's for another deep dive.
Right. Because it's fascinating how all these things, the Maharaja's indecision, the goals of the new nations, this violent invasion, how they all just came together to turn Kashmir into this flashpoint that's lasted decades.
It's a confluence of factors. And there's another piece here that often gets less attention, but it's important.
What's that?
Lord Mountbatten, the last viceroy, then the first governor-general of India. He actually suggested or advised that once things calm down, there should be a vote.
A referendum, a plebiscite.
Exactly. Let the people of Kashmir decide their own future. That was his proposal, alongside accepting the accession for the immediate crisis.
And India agreed to that.
In principle, yes. India did state its commitment to holding a plebiscite once conditions allowed. But, and this is the crucial but.
There were conditions.
Yes. The main one being the complete withdrawal of Pakistani forces, the invaders, from the territory. That was seen as essential for a free and fair vote.
And that withdrawal?
It never fully happened. Pakistan maintained control over part of Kashmir. So because those preconditions weren't met, from India's perspective...
The plebiscite never took place.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the failure to hold that vote became another major point of bitterness and dispute. It allowed both sides to dig into their positions, leading eventually to the line of control, the ceasefire line that became the de facto border we see today.
So let's circle back to that question we started with. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Hmm.
What if Hari Singh had decided sooner? India, Pakistan. What if he had somehow managed independence earlier?
Or what if that tribal invasion hadn't happened when it did? Or, the biggest what if, perhaps, what if that plebiscite had gone ahead?
You can imagine a completely different history for South Asia, can't you? It really drives home the point about indecision at critical moments.
Absolutely. How hesitation, or maybe just being overtaken by events in international politics, can lock things into decades, literally decades, of conflict and deep mistrust. It's a powerful historical lesson.
And as we said, we'll pick up this thread next time. We'll dive into that first Indo-Pakistan War of 47-48, the actual fighting, the key players, how the division of Kashmir got even more solidified.
Yeah, looking forward to exploring that phase.
So we'll leave you with this to mull over. Think about today's world. How do these kinds of situations, political ambiguity, questions of self-determination that just don't get resolved, how do they continue to fuel conflicts around the globe?
It's a question with deep roots, going right back to moments like the one we've been discussing in Kashmir back in 1947. A sobering thought, indeed.